Let's go!
Still coming to work every day.
Are you kidding me? AJ Haulcy, we're breaking him down today, and the funny thing is he's already played a game in LSU's Tigers Stadium. This was him as a true freshman accomplishing the hardest thing to do in all of college football, which is tackle Jayden Daniels in the open field. The baggy undershirt helped out, but Haulcy not only brought Jayden Daniels down, this also took Jayden out of the game. We get to the actual film from last year. So he started off his career in New Mexico in 2022, then in 2023 began his career with the Houston Cougars, and then in 2024 had a phenomenal season. And you would think the way he played defense, he was coached by Kelvin freaking Sampson. But no, this guy was a bright, shining star in a year that didn't have many of them for the Cougars. And this is just really, really, really good football from Haulcy. So you could see that the QB staring down this seam route just assumed that Haulcy would be eaten up by this crosser, but he reads the QB's eyes, finds the football, catches it at its highest point, and is able to take it the other way for a nice return. Something else that I like about Haulcy is as an actual interceptable returner, he actually makes plays after the catch, which is just a minor thing, right? We want just the interceptions first and foremost. So I understand it's a little pixelated. You get another highlight. Once again, these are mostly his highlights. We'll get to a few lowlights in just a second. That was just a bad throw from Sawyer Robertson, which is something LSU has in common, which is picking off Sawyer Robertson. So one thing that makes him very tantalizing as a player is he is very decisive, okay? Look, he is jumping over the top over here, reading the QB's eyes, but then once he sees the QB's eyes get to here, he drives down on the football. I want you to see there's no wasted movement here. Plant, he sees it, beeline to the football right there, and is able to not only deflect it, catch it, hold on to it for a nice INT. So we get to another INT here, and of the four that we've seen, 3 of them weren't just balls thrown right at him. They were plays that extended on, and you could see that it looks like he's rolling out to the right side, trying to do something over there, and this is a QB who I believe quit on his team last year. He throws the football up, and it's not even to the receiver that Haulcy is guarding. Okay, that's one of my favorite things about him is that he is decisive. He actually goes out there and makes a play instead of ball watching like LSU's safeties and nickels did last year. So once again, after actually catching the football, there is a good bit of juice as a runner, right? You can see he's a thicker player as well. So he's a guy that plays with a lot of force. We'll get to a few hits. We already showed you one at the very beginning of this clip. But once again, a very creative player after actually catching the interception. Okay? Really, really, really good stuff. All right, here's another fun rep, and this is an actual tackling rep. I want you to see how much distance he is covering. Now, once again, this is a relatively basic tackle, but he is in the open field versus a quarterback with some juice. And guess what? He brings him down. Let's get to something the Detroit Lions do a really good job of offensively, which is switch releases, okay? So pre-snap, you're thinking that 19 is going to go block Haulcy and 23 is going to go block the edge. But guess what they decide to do offensively? They switch it up. So 19 blocks the edge, and 23, who is a lighter player, is to take on Haulcy here at the second level, okay? So he sees it, and guess what? He's got 2 gaps he is responsible for here, okay? You have here, and then you have here. This is not an easy play. So watch what Haulcy decides to do. The running back does a really good job of bouncing it into this gap. But 23 didn't want any of this business. Haulcy gets 23 into this gap, right? If you're in this spot right here, the one place we want you to be is actually here, okay? Because you have inside help right here scraping over here at the second level. But you can see that Haulcy just throws him off, and it's just right there to fill in the run game. So you're seeing some good versatility throughout this. So Haulcy has something called patience, right? It's a term that is used quite a bit. I don't have a lot of it. That's why I have teamed up with our friends at Fast Draft Fantasy. Yes, fantasy football drafts that last less than 10 minutes. You're going up to $50,000 with Fast Draft Fantasy. Use my promo code Carter for a $50 deposit match bonus, okay? So this is really good stuff. It's relatively basic stuff, but you can see that this is a handoff here to the left side. Haulcy is responsible for this backside gap. So often, when it looks like a handoff is going to the far left, you will see safeties just fly over the top to try and go make a play and disregard their initial responsibility. But Haulcy sees that this gap is opening, right? He sees that there is a lot of penetration, and he is anticipating that this running back is going to bounce right into here. And what does he do? He's right there waiting for it. Now, there's a second part of this play that's very impressive. Not only is he responsible for his gap here, he actually makes the tackle here, okay? He's able to chase this RB down and make a solo tackle in some space. It looks as if Houston is in a basic cover 6 alignment, which means you're running cover 4 over here, which is quarter. So this corner is back, the safety is back, and then over here, you're running cover 2. 4 plus 2 equals cover 6. Now, if it was just cover 4, this corner would be bailing out right here, all right? Now, this is the problem when you run cover 6, is that a cover 2 beater is a hole shot, right, which is just a vertical being thrown into this tight space, and that is exactly what Utah has drawn up here, okay? Haulcy immediately runs in this direction, anticipating that there is going to be a hole shot being thrown right here, okay? So he sees the tight end is running a stop, and then the quarterback sees that the corner is sitting on the stop or potential out. So Haulcy is reading that this is going to be a hole shot, and the quarterback's actually throwing this with good anticipation. Haulcy gets his eyes on the football, drives down on it, and actually makes a play on it, okay? This is really good stuff. Now, a better corner wide receiver duo is probably completing that, but still, it's good play recognition. And they had the perfect play called for that. All right. So now we get to Iowa State. This is definitely one of the better offenses in college football. They had 2 wide receivers get drafted in the first couple of rounds, ironically by the same team, and that team, ironically, was the Houston Texans. But we get to this play. Actually, I don't remember this play from watching his highlight reel. This is him blitzing off the edge, and he is able to bat this football down. This is just old school physical tackle football from AJ Haulcy. All right, this is a high draft pick, Jalen Noel. All right, he immediately reads that this is a quick screen into the boundary. Okay, and he cuts through both of these blockers. Look at him split through it, get physical, and fight through these blockers and actually go make the tackle. It's really good stuff. All right, so here is a counter GY to being run to the left, okay? And this is AJ Haulcy. This honestly is a better job by the defensive end, taking on both of these blockers and forcing this play to slow down and bounce. But we're focusing on Haulcy, okay? Takes on the block. I mean, he is just so good at just throwing blocks off to the side, okay? And he goes in there and makes a nice tackle. At the time of this recording, AJ Haulcy has not made a decision. So I won't get into the latest because it'll sound dated. There is no telling what he can actually do. But this should excite some LSU fans because you see him right here make a touchdown-saving tackle. These are some of the most valuable plays, even though Iowa State here picks up basically 60-plus yards here, it is even more important to make sure it's not an 80-yard touchdown, and he makes a very physical touchdown-saving tackle right there. On this next play, you'll see him drive down, make a very physical pass breakup, and that's one thing I like about him. There is a certain level of physicality he brings to pretty much every secondary that he plays for. You know, as a true freshman, remember, that was only his third game versus LSU, the very first clip you saw. I mean, slamming one of the best college football players of all time to the ground, that's impressive. There is a physicality to his game that you really, really, really do adore. But this is me just breaking down his highlights, and there are some red flags, and I've already done a film study on those. You can check it out on Patreon. The link is down below. I do think it is very important to include that because, as with any player, he's not a perfect safety prospect, and it's important, to keep that in mind. This isn't a transcendent Caleb Downs or probably even like an Andrew Makuba type of transfer, but he is very good, and the harsh truth about this LSU secondary is there are holes. Now, this LSU secondary, without reasonable doubt, will definitely be better with the additions of DJ Pickett, Mansour Delane, and so on, Jakeem Jackson. But this LSU safety room has some major question marks. Of course, you bring in Cooley. You do worry. Jordan Gilbert was very hit and miss, and there are quite a few people in LSU's building that is growing their belief in a guy like Javian Toviano and Deshaun Spears, who will only be entering year 2, a former top 100 recruit. What about a guy like Joel Rogers? I hope this makes me sound really cool, but I do really, really believe LSU needs to pay up and get AJ Haulcy on campus. I am that worried, in particular, about LSU's safety room. You see him right there making an interception with Jack Besh in the background. So, it would be a massive, massive, massive addition. And if anything, it just provides some depth as you really try and make a push for the college football playoffs. So I understand. There's also, some that would say, man, our defense is going to be so heavily reliant on transfers. Well, you got to do what you got to do. It's just that simple. So let me know what you guys think down below, and we'll talk to you soon. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. And tonight we are doing lemon pepper chicken wings. Let's go.